Good morning, dear students. So, let's discuss the poem Mending Shoes by E.V. Ramakrishnan. So, you are familiar with the poem Mending Walls, right? So, this is entirely a different poem altogether. So, in this poem, you find the speaker and there is a cobbler as well. Who is a cobbler? Who mends shoes, right? So, you find the cobbler mending shoes. The speaker has given his shoes to the cobbler to mend. The shoes was broken or it was torn, and the cobbler is mending the shoe, stitching it together. So, the poem is about the huge indifference that you feel, that you experience in this world, or how world is indifferent to our feelings, and also how we are indifferent to what is happening around us. Now we'll read the poem and you'll get to know much better. The cobbler sits under the neem, mending shoes, humming to himself, unmindful of the day coming to a close. I watch his elegant hands weave in and out of my tattered shoes. The pan shop radio splutters into sudden life. Gorbachev has resigned. Yeltsin assumes control of the Commonwealth. The cobbler threads the frayed ends of worn-out joints. He restores a sense of shape to the ruins of my journeys, from the plains of the Deccan to the palm shade of my village. I am glad he has given my trespasses. Through the tip of his needle, the highways of the homeland are stitched back into a map of return journeys, ready for use. Now, the shoes belong to the road, to the vagaries of the weather. The clamor of crows sucks up the last drops of daylight. As he gets up to leave, he looks into the shimmering lights of this Porsche as someone about to renounce the world. He knows at this very hour someone is stepping into history, where the presents prescience of a new pair of shoes. So, the time is, it's evening, dusk, and the cobbler sits under a neem tree mending shoes, and the speaker goes and gives his shoes to mend. And while mending, he's humming to himself. He's singing a song, or he's humming an old tune. He is unmindful of what happened during the day, what happened to the government, what happened to the world outside. And what we find is, he's unmindful of the day coming to a close, and he is not bothered. The day is about to end, and he is not worried. I watch his elegant hands weave. The speaker, looks at the way the cobbler is weaving the shoes, the torn, tattered shoes. And there is a pan shop nearby, and you can hear the sound of the radio. And maybe the news is going on, and you hear the news of Gorbachev about the ruler in Commonwealth. But the cobbler is unmindful of it. He's not bothered. He's not disturbed, and it doesn't affect him. The cobbler threads the frayed ends of worn-out joints. He was very keen in doing what he is doing, and he restores a sense of shape to the ruins of the journeys, from the plains of Deccan to the palm shade of my village. So this is about the journeys that he undertook with that shoes. He wore that shoes to different plains, to the plains of Deccan, to his village. So he's actually, the cobbler is mending the ruins of those shoes, which witnessed enormous journeys in the speaker's life. Through the tip of his needle, the highways of the homeland are stitched back into a map of return journeys, ready for use. So the shoes came long way, and it got tattered, and now it is being mended into something new, into a new pair of shoes, so that the speaker can take a return journey towards his village or wherever his destiny is. And now the shoes belong to the road, so now the shoes is in shape. It's now new pair of shoes, and it belongs to the road, to the vagaries of the weather. Now it can endure the weather again, once again. The clamor of the crows, you hear the cross, sound of the cross going towards the end of the day, towards the close of the day, and you get the last drops of sunlight. Sun has set. As he gets up to leave, he just give a look into the shimmering lights, as if a man is looking back to the world that he has left. For example, you take the case of a man who is renouncing the world, going for a journey uh, to Himalayas or whatever, and he just give a longing, lingering look behind the world that he has renounced. And likewise, he just take a look at the neem tree, the place where he was sitting, just like that. And at that moment, he knew that someone is stepping into history with the presence of a new pair of shoes, and he has done something which a small act, a cobbler who is unmindful about what is happening around, did something, a common thing. He mended the shoes that was given to him, and he got the payment for that. And then that actually made an impact in the life of this speaker, because maybe the speaker is of great importance or whatever. Maybe the destiny of the speaker is so huge, so he is stepping into his destiny, and the cobbler is unmindful of that small act that he has done. But nevertheless, that small act actually decided or helped this man, the speaker, the protagonist, to move into his destiny with the presence of a new pair of shoes. So the poem is about how we are unmindful about the whole world outside, what is happening around us. We don't take into account the governmental policies or whatever happened, but and we think that what we do, like the small things like mending shoes, is not that important or significant. But nevertheless, that small act will have some sort of impact, as far as another person is concerned. When you can just take a look at Spinoza, who said, the Greek philosopher, who said, you have to think in the perspective of eternity. So whatever you do, it has got some sort of impact when you think from the perspective of eternity. When you think that you just mended his shoes or did something very insignificant, but when you place yourself and that small act in the larger context of eternity, it has got some place or some importance, some significance in your life or in the lives of your loved ones or someone else. So that is what this poem is about, Mending Shoes. So shall we read it once again? So keep this meaning in your mind and read the poem. Mending shoes. The cobbler sits under the neem, mending shoes, humming to himself, unmindful of the day coming to a close. I watch his elegant hands weave in and out of my tattered shoes. The pan shop radio splutters into sudden life. Gorbachev has resigned. Yeltsin assumes control of the Commonwealth. The cobbler threads the frayed ends of the worn-out joints. He restores a sense of shape to the ruins of my journeys, from the plains of Deccan to the palm shade of my village. I am glad he has given my trespass to the tip of his needle. The highways of the homeland are stitched back into a map of return journeys ready for use. Now the shoes belong to the road, to the vagaries of the weather. The clamor of crows sucks up the last drops of daylight as he gets up to leave. He looks into the shimmering lights of his porch as someone about to renounce the world. He knows at this very hour someone is stepping into history with the presence of a new pair of shoes. Thank you.